Yo, what's up, Buffalo Fanatics, Bills Mafia, all around the world, what's going on? It's your man, Rev, and I am glad to be here with you for another edition, not Rated Rev, but this is the BF Tailgate on a beautiful Sunday morning, early Sunday afternoon, wherever you're watching. This is game day, baby. So glad to be here with you guys. Everybody that's watching live right now, do me this favor. As so many of you are already in the chat, smash that like, hit the subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications. You already know what to do. But let's go Buffalo. Go Bills. What's up, Vincent Clatter in the house? What's happening, everybody? I see Willow in the house. What's up, Willow? David Hoffman is here. Let's go Buffalo Bills forever. You got that right, Dave. Logan is in the crib. Let's go Buffalo. What's happening? How is everybody feeling on game day? Game day. Oh, man. Yo, it is. I'm excited about it. I'm glad to be here with you guys. Shout out to everybody, all of Bills Mafia, all of the Buffalonians who are live in Buffalo right now, who's had to endure this snowstorm. Shout out to everybody. I hope that and pray that everybody has been safe so far. Kudos to you guys for battling it out down there. I mean, kudos to everybody who has made the trip down to Detroit. Wow. I saw a tweet about how many, matter of fact, I think it was like 50-something thousand of the tickets that went for sale were already sold out. Already sold out. And I've got a good feeling that a large contingency was Bills Mafia, representing like no other fan base across all of professional sports. So shout out to you guys, indeed. But yo, I'm glad to be here with you guys. Brew comes in. He says, yo, no excuses today. I don't want to hear it. Brew, I don't want to hear it neither. I don't want to hear it neither. This is a game that the Bills have to win. They have to win this game. There is no room for excuses, no room for error, nothing. It's put up or shut up time for the Bills. 2-game losing streak. They better come correct right now. I don't want to hear anything about the situation at hand and the snow and having to, wait last minute to change. Look, you got to be ready. We can't use that as an excuse. It is what it is. The Cleveland Browns got last minute notice too. So it is what it is, man. Both teams having to travel. But what I want to know, what I'm curious to know is this a advantage Bills or disadvantage Bills? That's what I want to know because, like I mentioned, I believe that the Bills Mafia is going to show up to this game, right? But do we lose any kind of advantage, any kind of home field advantage? No doubt, if this game was played in Buffalo, it would be ridiculous, right? But now it's on the road, so is it who gains the advantage? There's takes out there that say, you know what, Bills dodged a bullet because they didn't want to see Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in that run game in Buffalo in the snow, right? But then, there's other side that says, you know what, the Browns don't want to see the Bills in a dome. They don't want to see the Bills offense in a dome. You know what I'm saying? So, like, which side of the fence are you on? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think it's advantage Bills because the offense is in a dome? Or do you think it's disadvantage for the Browns? I mean, what do you think? What do you think? It could be, and also, I mean, it could also be an advantage for the Browns too because that running game is not running in the snow. I think that snow is a neutralizer for everybody, right? And so, like, we're going to get to see Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb at their full strength without no restrictions, no weather restrictions in a dome. So, I mean, you could look at it that way as well. But I see some people already come in and Brew comes in. He says, it's advantage. We can play in great conditions, no wind, rain, or snow. Matthew says, advantage Bills. Ronald Enix, advantage. I'm assuming he's talking about the Bills' advantage. Yeah, I think so, man. Like Bills in a dome, that offense in a dome. Like, we got Josh Allen. Matter of fact, let's just go through it right now. Okay, let's go ahead and go through it. Let me pull it up real quickly. Hold on 1 second. Let me change my banner. And shout out to, man, there's over 100 of you guys in here right now already Man, kudos to you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at who's available in today's game. I'm trying to look for my banner, and I don't see it. Maybe it may be somewhere else here. Anyway, I want to take a look at the injury report. Is what I want to look at. That's what I want to look at. I want to look at the injury report. I want to see who's available for this game and who's not available. And I'm gonna try to pull it up here. Where is it at here? Let me see if I can pull it up somewhere. If anybody else has it, oh wait a minute, wrong tab. If anybody else happens to have that injury report here, um, let me know who's not playing and who is playing. Okay, we already know Greg Rousseau is out. Um, Jake Kumaro is out, right? I'm trying to think if anybody else is officially out for the game. Oh, Trey White, obviously. And man, we probably need to talk about that too, right? Like, what's up with Trey, man? What's up, what's going on with the Bills and this Trey White situation? I'm not too sure what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing. Anyway, but it seems a little weird, right? All right, so here's the injury report that came out a couple of days ago. Let me see if I can share my screen. Throw that over there. Share my screen, and let's take a look at it together. Okay, let's take a look at this together and go through this injury report here, just to see who's available and who's not available. There it is. All right, so out is Tremaine Edmonds. There we go. That's the other one. Tremaine Edmonds is out, right? Jay Kumro is out, placed on IR, and then Greg Rousseau is out. Okay, but now it looks like there was another tweet that came out about the game day. Yeah, here we go. Actives and inactives. So let's go to the wide receivers. Okay, so we got Isaiah McKenzie, Khalil Shakir, Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, and Tanner Gentry. So Tanner Gentry got called up from the practice squad. I'm glad they did something because, I mean, the Bills at that point, I think 1, 2, 3, they only had 4 available wide receivers, which is a no-go, right? No-go. So I'm glad they were able to go ahead and shore that up, at least for the game, right? Because that's not good at all. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go into this game with 4 wide receivers, and heaven forbid anybody gets injured, right? It makes you pretty thin. And so now we're looking at Tanner Gentry. So he gets a call up. What do you guys think about Tanner Gentry? I mean, I know there was a lot of talk about him and, his familiarity with Josh as they played in college together at the University of Wyoming. And so we're trying to, so I mean, I guess, yeah, he's gonna get the opportunity to prove himself. Excuse me, guys. I got to grab my charger to my laptop here. I'm stretching out. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to look too unprofessional. So give me just 1 second. All right, got it. Anyway, yeah, so I want to know what Tanner Gentry is going to look like. That's what I'm curious to see. Because we definitely are going to need all hands on deck today, right? Again, no excuses, but everybody needs to show up. Everybody who's active today needs to show up. So Tanner, we're going to get a chance to see if that chemistry that he has with Josh in college is still good, right? I've got my man Sweat says, "Yo, I just want the Bills to win this game." I feel you, man. I feel you. I just want a Bills dub. That's it, man. That is it. And so yeah, so we're looking at the wide receivers. So we got those 4 tight ends. We got of course the regulars, right? Dawson Knox, Quentin Morris. Across the O line, we're looking pretty good. We've got Bobby Hart, Mitch Morris, Ryan Bates. Deion Dawkins, we got Van Rotten is playing. Okay, so we got Saffold, Quessenberry, and Brown. Running backs, we went with 5 backs again. So last week we went with 6. Now we got 5. Naheem Hines, Tyron Jones, special teams. So Singletary, Cook, right? And then Gillum. So I'm curious to see if they're going to actually utilize these 5 backs in today's game, unlike they did last week when they had 6. Let's see if anybody else stands out. So we got 4 edge rushers, right? We got Von Miller, Boogie Basham, AJ Epinesa, and Shaq Lawson. All right, so Von is good. Of course, we got no Groot. So I need these other guys to step up, man. I need to see a game from Basham. Lawson does pretty good against the run, but I need Basham and Epinesa to step up big time, right? They definitely have to step up. I want to look at this right here, the linebackers, okay, because the linebackers is key right here, because without Tremaine Edmonds, who's going to get the call up, right? I mean, we've got Tyrell Dodson. He got some time last week, didn't go too well. Matt Milano, I'm fine with that. Bale Inspector, special teams. We've got Terrell Bernard, Tyler Matakevich, right? So you notice the guy who we just picked up off waivers, AJ Klein, who many people were thinking that was going to play, and even watching One Bills Live, they had a segment called with Micah Hyde. I think it was called Nothing to Hide, and he was talking about how he believes that AJ Klein, could jump in, you know what I'm saying, and without missing a beat, because he's so familiar with the scheme. He's a pro, but you look and you see him, he's inactive today. He's inactive. I mean, this to me is a key inactive, in my opinion, because you know who we're going up against, right? We got Nick Chubb, we got Kareem Hunt, we got that vaunted running game. And then you get a guy like AJ Klein back. You pick him up off waivers. He knows the defense, extremely familiar with the defense. There's really no need for him to have to try to learn and pick up. He already knows it, right? He already knows it. But you make him a healthy scratch today in a game where you're probably going to need 3 linebackers on the field. So now you're not going to have AJ Klein. So now you're going to have to deal with, use Tyrell Dodson, or Terrell Bernard, if they plan on going, with some base 4-3 formations today to try to stop this run. I don't know. I mean, it's early, but I don't like it already. I thought AJ Klein would definitely be active at least, but he's not active, so I'm not too sure about that. Good news is Jordan Poyer is playing, so he's active, which is a good thing for the Bills secondary. Of course, we got the same Taron Johnson, man. He's been steady all year. We've got Xavier Rhodes, who gets called up. We heard about that earlier, right? And then we've got Christian Benford, Kaiir Elam inactive. So he was questionable, but now he's a healthy scratch today. So we're going to go with Dane Jackson, Christian Benford at a cornerback position, at outside corner, along with Taron Johnson inside. Xavier Rhodes gets called up. And then that's it, man. And then on safety position, Damar Hamlin and I'm wondering if it's going to be Jordan Poyer and Damar Hamlin, or if it's going to be Poyer and Marlowe. That's a key position that I'm looking forward to seeing right now. I don't want to see Jaquan Johnson. I think we've already had enough of Jaquan Johnson, right? Now, at least I have. And so I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that in the safety position opposite of Jordan Poyer. I would like. I mean, that's a tough one, right? Because you want guys who can tackle, because we know what the Cleveland Browns are going to do. They are going to run the ball, right? And why wouldn't they? That's their bread and butter. And then teams of late have been running the ball down the Bills' throats. And so they're going to do it. And so you want guys who can tackle, sure tacklers who are not afraid to get up in the run game and get dirty, right? And so when you look at Damar Hamlin, to me, he's a phenomenal run-stopping safety, right? I'm not too sure. Jaquan Johnson, no, scratch him out, man. I would rather I would rather have Jaquan Johnson inactive and then activate AJ Klein, right? To me, I would rather go with one less safety and activate Klein, because I want sure tacklers. I want guys who are going to come up in the run game and knock somebody out. Jaquan Johnson is there. I don't know what they're doing with that right there, in my opinion. I just don't know. I don't know. Philip Morella comes in. He says, Hamlin is an excellent tackler. And I agree, Philip. I agree, man. He's a very good tackler. Let me see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Pierre comes in, he said, let's get it. That's it, man. That is what it's going to boil down to, man. The Bills have to come out there and get this win. Carl Tolman comes in with an early super chat. Carl, I appreciate it. He says, keys to the game, already keys to the game. He says, Josh plays smart and does not force any more bad throws. Check. 0 turnovers. Check. Number 2. AJ Klein, Dean Marlowe, Nyheim Hines, and Jordan Poyer all play. Well, I mean, all but AJ Klein are playing right there, Carl. So we're not going to see AJ Klein. So hopefully AJ Klein's absence does not bite us in the butt in this game. Hopefully, they're able to rely on these other guys, and other guys are able to step up. But I do agree with you as far as the keys to the game, with Josh playing a smart game and not forcing any more bad throws. That has been his That's been what's caused the Bills to lost these games, in my opinion. I mean, it boils down to Josh Allen and these poor decisions, right? And he even alluded to it. I think he even admitted it, saying like, look, he's had trouble with really like relying on his guys in key situations, right? Like forcing it and feeling like he has to be the guy to make the play. That's telling, in my opinion. If he's saying he has trouble trusting other guys, I mean, outside of Stephon Diggs, right? What does that say about the likes of Dawson Knox with his contract extension? What does that say about the run game and the backs at the backfield? What does that say about Gabe Davis? You know what I'm saying? If he's not trusting these guys, I don't know if that says anything about them or it just says a lot about Josh and his refusal to be patient. I'm leaning on that side. I think it's Josh. He needs to be patient. Stop trying to be Mr. Hero, Mr. Superman, right? Because there's no S on his chest, right? I mean, there really isn't. I mean, he's an elite quarterback in this league right now. But at the end of the day, man, it's not a one-man show. There's 11 guys on offense that he has to rely on. Outside of himself, he's got 10 guys he has to trust, right? And we have seen the tape, right? We've seen guys being wide open underneath for the check down, and Josh is just not looking at these guys. He's trying to force it downfield because he wants to go for the jugular early. He wants to just make the kill shot in one fatal swoop, right? Just one blow, boom, knock you out. But sometimes it's best by, it's death by 1,000 cuts, right? If that's what the game plan calls for, if defenses are playing, the coverage game and they're stopping that deep passing game, right, and making you have to slice and dice, right, dink and dunk all the way down the field, then Josh has to be willing to do that. And over the past couple of weeks, he hasn't been willing to do it. So this needs to be the game in which he does that. Take what the defense gives you, man. I mean, you never go broke taking a profit. If you got to dump it off to Motor or James Cook out of the backfield for an easy 5 yards and let them, do what they do best, then do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's not force any errors. Let's not do that. So I agree with you, Carl, on that, man. It needs to be Josh has to play a clean game. A clean game. 100%. Let me look here in the chat and see who else has anything to say, what you guys have been talking about. Let's see here. So, Pierre, all right, I like this. I'm going to go ahead and touch on it. So, Pierre, he comes in, he says, Jaquan has been grooming for years and failed to seize his moment. Unfortunately, on to the next. That's where I am with that, man, Pierre, because Jaquan has been here for a long time, right? He's been here for a while. He's been in the system. He's been learning. He knows the system, but he just hasn't performed. Whenever he gets the chance to get on the field with some meaningful snaps, he has essentially pooped the bed, right? He just hasn't. He doesn't look good. He hasn't looked good, and so I'm done with him. I don't want to see him. I mean, special teams, fine, but when it comes to having defensive snaps, no, I don't want to see him anymore. I don't. Give me DeMar Hamlin, without a doubt. And I want to see Dean Marlowe today. Please let this be the game in which we see some Dean Marlowe, please. Otherwise, why did you sign him? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure Brandon Beane has got to be like wondering, why in the heck did I go out and give up some assets to sign this guy, bring him back, a familiar face into this defense for him not to play, right? For him not to play. It makes no sense. I mean, same can be said with Nyheim Hines, right? Get the guy involved. I don't care. He doesn't need to know the entire offense before you play him on a game, right? Give him a few packages or whatever and let the guy get comfortable with that in the game. And so we'll see. Hopefully, the coaches can seize the moment, right? And make some necessary adjustments to give these Bills a big win. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen, man. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. Ronald Fogan, he says, stop the run. That has to be that's it, right? If we're going to jump into the keys of the game, which I don't really want to jump into right now, but that is definitely one of the keys of the game. We have to stop the run. We know that's what the Browns do. That's their bread and butter. That's their MO. It's the run game. And when you've got Derrick Henry talking about, Nick Chubb is the best running back in the league, you better believe the man, right? Nick Chubb is coming. He's here. And so this Bills defense, they better be ready. They better be ready. 1,000%. 1,000%. Man, shout out to everybody who's joining us right now, man. We've got 200 of you guys watching live right now. Kudos to you. But do me this favor. If you haven't already done so, smash that like, hit the subscribe button, and turn on those bell notifications. Let's jump in a little further here into the show. I want to know what the Bills can do, man. Let's talk about some key matchups. Key matchups right now. Who do you guys have your eyes on in this matchup against the Cleveland Browns? Now, we know the Bills are 6-3. The Browns have not been so well, right? What are they, like 3-6 or something like that? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think that really talks about I don't know if their record indicates the talent that's on this team, right? And let's just be fair, right? I mean, they've got some guys on the team that we need to look out for. Namely, of course, we already know Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. That's what the offense runs on, right? They're the engine that runs the entire team. But then you got Amari Cooper, right? That we have to look out for as well, and in the passing game. So they got that play action game, that strong play action off of the Nick Chubb, right? That could open up things for guys like Amari Cooper in the back end, right, in the passing game. Jacoby Brissett he's been a steady figure for the Browns, man. He really has. And then if you flip over to the defensive side of the ball, I mean, we got Myles Garrett, who is a problem and a half, right? Deion Dawkins said that Myles Garrett is the toughest guy he's had to play against. The toughest guy he's had to play against. And so for me, when I look at matchups, because I need if we are going to expect Josh Allen and the offense to really go off, right, by playing in the dome, it starts with the protection up front. It starts with the protection up front. And I'm looking at Deion Dawkins and Myles Garrett. That to me is a huge matchup. And they're gonna have some. I mean, Deion, he's a very good player. I wouldn't put him up there with the tops of the left tackles in the National Football League, but he's above average, right? But Dawkins versus Myles Garrett, yeah, Philip agrees. It's going to be a huge matchup, and I want to know if the Bills trust Deion enough to let this man block Garrett one-on-one, mano-y-mano, or if they're going to bring help. Right, if they're going to chip the guy, because I mean, you don't want Garrett to get off, man. It's going to be a long game if Garrett is whipping Deion Dawkins all game. So I think that what I think is I think they're gonna leave him out there, on the island, so to speak, and see how he fares throughout the game. And if he's just getting beaten up and we need some help, then I definitely think we're going to see some chips. I think we're going to see some protection sliding his way. You're going to see Dawson Knox getting in there, right? You may see some jumbo packages where you bring in Bobby Hart on that side as well. So I definitely think we're going to see some of that, or we could see some of that depending upon how this offensive line protects Josh Allen. Yeah, I agree, Pierre. I'm not saying every play. He said, it wouldn't be smart to chip Garrett on every play. No, I'm not saying every play, but you definitely need to don't want to just let Garrett run free. I think situationally, yeah, you definitely need to do it to keep him on his toes, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be with guys in line, right? I mean, you could put Deion. I mean, not Deion. You could put Dawson Knox out there in the slot on his side, right? Kind of in tight a little bit, and before he goes out on a route, he just chips him, man. Just hits him hard, Just kind of surprising. Just let him know that, hey, we're here and we see you, but definitely not on every play. But another key matchup, man, because Garrett is he definitely is different. Another key matchup. Let me see here. I'm looking at and to me, I don't necessarily know if this is like a one guy, but to me, I would say it's going to be an entire front seven effort of the Bills defense versus Nick Chubb. Right. It's gonna take all 7 guys up front to stop this guy. It really is. No one player is going to be able to shut him down. I mean, we need a great game by our defensive front, right? The D line without Greg Rousseau, who is in my opinion one of the best run stopping defensive ends. I mean, you know what I'm saying, young defensive ends in the game, let alone our team, right? Along with Von Miller, but man, without Groot, we're going to need guys like Boogie Basham, Shaq Lawson to really step up in the run game. Play very sound. Play. Their technique needs to be on point, right? Seal the edges, all that kind of stuff. But right up the gut in between the tackles, man, I need the big hog mollies, man. The Daquan Joneses, the Jordan Phillips, Ed Oliver, Tim Settle. I need these guys to have a huge game because this Cleveland Browns offensive line is nothing to play with. We're going to see. My man Wyatt Teller is in town. That's a dog right there, right? And so how well this defensive front holds up against the offensive line of the Cleveland Browns is going to be another huge matchup, right? The trenches, the Bills defensive line versus the Cleveland Browns offensive line is going to be a huge matchup to me. Brian, man, come on, man. Why you say that? He says, keep Oliver out unless it's obvious passing situations. The run D got bad when he came back fully healthy, undersized. I see what you're saying, bro, but there's no way, in my opinion, there's no way that this Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott are going to put Ed Oliver on the sideline unless it's in obvious passing situations. I do think that there will be opportunities, right, on occasion where we'll see, I guess you can call it like double one text, right? They're just big dudes inside, right? Like you'll see Daquan Jones and Tim Settle, right? Or Daquan Jones and Jordan Phillips at times, you know what I'm saying, together. But to outright put Oliver on the sideline, except for obvious passing situations, man, I don't know if they do that. If they do, that's quite telling, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Especially a guy that you just picked up his 5th-year option. You know why? You know, I mean, he has to be able to do it all. You know what I'm saying? So we need at least one guy to really, because we're gonna need some penetration, right? We need some guys who can get in the backfield, right? Because I mean, it's one thing just to kind of have big dudes up front and trying to hold the point of attack against a very good offensive line, but man, the quickest way to stop Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is to get him in the backfield before they get going, right? Tackles for loss. And so we need guys, in my opinion, like Ed Oliver, who's quick off the snap to get in the backfield, right? Reroute Nick Chubb, make him have to juke or make or sidestep or something like that, right? Get him off. We don't want that guy to get a full head of steam, and we don't want that. So I think you got to play it carefully and balance it out. That's just in my opinion. WB2DX says, Oliver needs to bring the beast mode. He does, man. I need to see him out, man. I need to see him out there, and I need to see him feasting. I need him to get in the backfield, penetration. He doesn't have to necessarily have to have sacks or tackles for loss, but if he can just reroute Nick Chubb, make him second guess. Oh, dang. You know what I'm saying? And then allow the back end to really come back in and make the tackle. I just need him to affect the game. Just to affect the game some kind of way is what I'm looking for any of the guys across the defensive line. Cristobal Muniz comes in. He says, Klein was a good pickup. Well, yeah, he was a good pickup. He would have been if he was playing today, but they decided to put him as a healthy scratch. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not too sure. I'm going through the chat to see what you guys are saying. Big Time Bean, B, you feel like that, man? He says, I have no confidence in this team right now. Oh, dude. Come on, man. I know the Bills haven't looked too good in the last couple of games, right? Namely Josh Allen. And I understand feeling down, but to have zero confidence in them, man, bro, we need cheer up, man. Cheer up. It's going to be okay. There's a whole lot of football left to be played, right? I mean, we've got 8 games left to play, including this one. I think that the Bills are going to be just fine. I do. They have to right this ship quick, right? Just because when you look at the division, right? The AFC is already jumbled, right? It's already tough and tight. But within the division, I don't think anybody foresaw the Bills having to look behind their backs at the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins, right? And then you got to then I mean you can't really throw away the Patriots too, because I mean there's a lot of season left in it, and so they can make a run. But I don't know if anybody thought that the Bills would be third place in the East right now, and so I think that it's okay to have some level of concern, but no confidence. I wouldn't go that far, man. I have confidence in this team. There's too many dogs on this team for them not to get it right. Okay. And this is a huge game for them to do it. I mean, when you look at the Browns, they are 31st defensively, I think, is in points allowed or some stat like that, some defensive stat. They're 31st. So I think this is a huge opportunity for the Bills offense to get right. They have to have a clean game, right? Obviously, Josh Allen cannot make any boneheaded decisions like he did before. No ridiculous interceptions, no turnovers, right? If they play a clean game, I think the Bills win handedly, right? I just do, but it comes down to that. But I definitely trust him. Jeff King comes in, super chat. Jeff, what's good, man? Good to hear from you. He says, yo, this whole team needs to step up. And yes, Josh, all caps, exclamations. Stop throwing those stupid picks. They're not even 50-50s, just blatant ego mistakes. I'm glad you used that word ego, Jeff, because that's exactly what it's been. And when Josh Allen even admits to the fact that he hasn't trusted, the other guys on the field, and he wants to be the guy, he wants to be the one doing it and making the kill shots and being the guy, who gets all the praise, like, hey, this is me. I want to win this game on my shoulders. That's ego, right? That's ego. We know he's a good player, very good player, strong arm, all that kind of stuff. But there comes a point in time when you have to rely on your other players. And if you're constantly being the guy who doesn't rely on his players, then those players are going to have a lack of trust in you. Like I think over the course of the season, the morale offensively could go down because Josh is not looking to his guys. He's not trusting his guys to make plays. When you got Motor Singletary coming out in the flat, wide open, you're not even looking to his side, and you're trying to force the ball into coverage. How much more trust do you think Motor or the running backs are going to have in you when you're overlooking Dawson Knox, overlooking these receivers underneath? You know what I'm saying? So Josh needs to throw his ego in the trash, right? He needs to. It's like that guy on the movie Game Plan, right? What was his name in the movie? It was The Rock. He played the quarterback. I think it was Joe something. I can't remember. But anyway, he was extremely egotistical. Now, Josh is not like that, right? But nevertheless, I mean, he didn't trust his players, and it came to bite him in the butt. You know what I'm saying? And so I agree with you, Jeff, man. Josh needs to trust his guys, man, and step up. Throw the ego in the trash. I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's keep it moving here, man. Brian Bowers. I agree, Brian. So Brian says, yo, I agree, Rev. It's arm arrogance. It is. It's arm arrogance. And I hope, because I believe Josh, we can't be the only ones who see this, right? Obviously, we have to believe that the coaches see this as well, and the coaches have addressed this to Josh. I would have to believe that. But I do wonder, and I'm curious because we've heard from offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, who has said it before. He said, yo, and he's made this phrase. He says, play smart, not conservative, right? And so he wants Josh and the offense to be smart, but not conservative, meaning they're going to take shots. They're going to be aggressive, right? I wonder, though, if Josh has a certain filter in his mind when he hears that. He says, go all out. You know what I'm saying? Sling the ball down the field, do what you do best, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I wonder if his filter is, you know what I'm saying, is messing up that message. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to just sling the ball and it's all on you, Josh. It means that, to me, be smart, but be aggressive when you need to. We're not playing conservative football. We're not going to just be conservative. No. We're going to take shots when we need to. We're going to be aggressive as the game calls for it. But you need to be smart, and smart is priority. And a smart play is this: not forcing the ball into coverage when you've got guys wide open underneath. That's smart. That's not conservative. That's smart. You know what I'm saying? And so I think Josh needs to change his filter, his mental filter there, all right, so he can get the message the right way. Yeah, Jeff, I agree, man. Yo, that filter is clogged. He needs to change it, man. It's clogged. I agree, dude. I agree. And I think once he does that, I think the offense, man, will start to operate at key efficiency. And we saw that. And you know what? And I don't think that Josh had a bad game last week. I think at the end is when the wheels fell off. Because earlier, I mean, the first half, I mean, it was looking good, right? I mean, he was checking it down. He was getting other guys involved. It just felt like once the game was on the line, right, and the Vikings started to score points, which happened right when Tremaine Edmunds went out of the game, if you guys noticed that. And they started to close the gap. It felt like to me, like the pressure, I felt like Josh kind of took on pressure, right? Like, oh, dang, they're closing in the gap. Let me try to win this game. You know what I'm saying? And when he did that, he was just making crucial mistakes, and we can't have that. Trust the guys that are on the field. So, what are some other key matchups? So for me, I mean, obviously, I had mentioned it was the offensive line, a Bills offensive line versus Deion Dawkins versus Myles Garrett. And then it was the Bills defensive line versus the Browns offensive line. Are there any other key matchups that you guys are looking out for? Who are you watching when this game comes on? Who do you have your eyes set to? Let me know in the chat who that is. Let me know who that is. But let's move on. I think this should be a very winnable game, right? It should be a very winnable game for the Bills. When you look at the stat, there's a stat, and let me see if I can pull it up, because I think Kevin Syracuse, who we may be hearing from later on in the show, he's supposed to be joining us live from Detroit. And let me see if I can find it here, because he put out a tweet. Let me see if I can find it real quickly. But it was sharing he was sharing the tweet about Josh Allen's stats indoors. All right, let me see if I can pull it up. Where's it at? Where'd it go? Where did you put that at, Kev? I can't find it. If anybody knows it, please pull it up in the chat. All right. But basically, Josh is lights out indoors in a dome, right? In a true dome scenario, he's lights out. And I think that's what we can rely on, right? I mean, because we want to see this offense operating at a high level, right? Operating at their maximum potential. And when you've seen Josh play in a dome, he's been lights out. And so playing today in Detroit should be advantage Bills, right? When you look at that offense, it should be advantage Bills. Now, we'll see, right? Anything can happen. Hopefully, like I mentioned earlier, that the game is a clean game, right? That these Bills have a clean game. If they have a clean game, I think the Bills win. I think they blow them out, in my opinion. I really do. Because I mean, when you look at the Browns, 31st, and I think points allowed. I mean, it's that's just they're just basically setting this thing up for the Bills to have a huge game, a huge get right game, right? And so that's what I'm leaning on. That's what I'm leaning on. I can't find that tweet, so if anybody else can find it or knows that stat, please pull it up in the chat. Let me see if I can go through it and see if anybody else has mentioned it. But nevertheless, man, this is definitely a must win for the Bills. And I know people hate to say that, oh, must win, or you're 6-3, 9 games into the season. Yeah, I mean, because I mean, at this point in time right now, this is where the season really starts, because this is a playoff push. This is a playoff race. Teams are getting in position for the playoffs, positioning themselves for the number 1 seed, and seeding it starts right now. November and December, you want to be playing your best football in the month of November and December, right? So so there are definitely must-win games at this stage and this point in the regular season, 100%. And Carl Tillman comes in again with the super chat. So, can I get my words together? Super chat. I appreciate it, Carl. He says, "Yo, Josh should target anyone covered by a Browns linebacker." Yeah, man. I think that this is an opportunity for the Bills offense to feast, right? Let me see if I can find it. I want to know the Browns game day actives and inactives. I know they have their linebacker from University of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think he's out as well, right? And so they have an opportunity. You know what? You know who I think has an opportunity to really have a good game if Josh decides to get him involved, or if Josh and Dorsey decide to get them involved, and that's Dawson Knox. I think this is a game. This is a breakout game for Knox, man. At least that's my hope. I want to see Dawson Knox have a very good game today. I definitely need to see it because we just haven't seen it right out of him. And I don't think it's because of him. I think it's because Josh is just not looking his way. Right? He has enough weapons. I get it. The Bills' offense is missing Cole Beasley, that guy in the slot. I get it. But Ken Dorsey knows how to dial up, right? I mean, he's a professional offensive coordinator, right? He knows how to scheme guys open. We've seen it. We've seen the film where guys are open underneath. Josh is not looking to him. He needs to look at his guys, right? If Diggs is your main guy you're looking at first, boom, look at, and if he's covered, double covered, man, move on, right? Don't force it. Don't feel the need to have to win this game right now on your shoulders. Check it down. Give it to Motor, who's been doing very well this year out of the backfield. Nyheim Hines, James Cook. Dang, I mean, those guys got speed. I'm okay with a 3-yard dump off to James Cook, who has sub 4.4 speed, and let him take the ball and test and see what he can do with it in his hands. Same with Nyheim Hines. Like, there's no way you shouldn't get those guys involved in the passing game. None. And then Dawson Knox underneath. Again, you've got weapons. Isaiah McKenzie playing today. I want to see him in some more like jet sweeps, end rounds, that type of stuff, right? Use his speed. This is what I want to see from Ken Dorsey and Josh Allen. I want to see them maximize the personnel on the team. You know what I'm saying? Like when we look at teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, for instance, man, they know how to maximize their personnel, right? Unlike any other team, in my opinion, in the National Football League. They lose Tyreek Hill, and we think that, oh man, we're gonna see a huge drop off out of their offensive efficiency. Lose Tyreek Hill, bring in Marquez Valdes-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster, and what happens? They don't miss a beat because they're not looking for those guys to beat Tyreek Hill. They're maximizing their potential and they're maximizing the personnel that they have on the field. And then they bring in a guy like Kadarius Toney, right? Who's that change-up guy who brings a different dynamic, and then maximize it. That's all we're looking for, and that's efficiency, right? And then you got Pat Mahomes not forcing the ball down the field, right? He's just taking what the defense gets. That's offensive efficiency. That's what we want to see out of Josh Allen and Ken Dorsey in this offense. And it can be done, right? It can be done. We have weapons on this team. If we maximize the personnel, we will be just fine. Jim Grant agrees. Yo, correct. Maximize. We got to, man. Josh agrees also, man. Yeah, we have to maximize the personnel. And then that also means leaning on the run game. I know a lot of Mafia don't like that. I know you don't. I know it's like, Rev, we cannot take the ball out of Josh's hands. Well, look. Let me say this. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Look at the Patriots in years past with Tom Brady. Weren't there times and moments when they took the ball out of Brady's hands and leaned on the running game, right? They were able to do whatever they needed to do based on matchups and what the game required out of them, right? Josh Allen is no Brady, and Josh has been in the slump. Why still put a heavy demand on Josh to win the game when you know he's been in a funk, right? Balance this thing out a little bit. Let him rely upon other guys and even in the run game, right? So that way he can get a taste of what it's like to be like, you know what? Yo, Motor had a very good game. Knox had a good game. McKenzie did his thing, right? Naheem, James Cook, you know what I'm saying? And so he looks at the guys and it's like, yo, these guys have stepped up. And now Josh feels more comfortable. I think that's what's needed in this game, in my opinion, man. I definitely think it. I'm looking here. Oh, the Fluffy Panda. There it is. Fluffy Panda. Shout out to you. I appreciate it for bringing that stat to me. I couldn't find it for nothing. So Josh Allen's dome stats, 4-0 in a dome, in a true dome situation, 4-0. 76.5% completion for 1,041 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Josh, he does his thing in a dome, right? He does. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, then why didn't they build a dome in Buffalo? We're not going to touch on that subject. All right, we're not going to touch on that. But we are going to touch on is the fact that we've got over 200 strong in here this morning in a Buffalo Fanatics tailgate pregame show. And I salute you. I salute you 100%. Smash that like if you haven't already done so and subscribe to the channel with those bell notifications on. Let's take a look at some keys to the game. Keys to the game as we are just over 45 minutes into the show, 47 and some change. What are some keys to the game? Keys to the game. If we are to say, look, in order for, and let's just flip, matter of fact, let's flip the script, okay? Let's flip the script. What are keys to the game for the Browns to stop the Bills? Let's do that. Let me hear from you. What will it take for the Cleveland Browns to stop the Buffalo Bills? Oh, man. That's going to be a good one, right? If I were to, off the top of my head, to me, first and foremost, I think, and I don't necessarily want to say it's the book is out on the Bills. I wouldn't necessarily say that. But there is what's the word I'm looking for? There's a way in which you can beat them. I'll put it that way, okay? And outside of turnovers and Josh Allen and his mistakes in the red zone, if you're just playing them straight up, right? The way to beat them, to me, is you have to find a way to keep their offense off the field, right? You have to keep Josh Allen and the offense off the field. Limit their possessions. The way in which you do that is you have to have long, sustainable drives. Well, how do you have long, sustainable drives? You run the ball with a mix of play action here and there. And what do you know that the Cleveland Browns can do? Well, they can run the ball. The passing game is not that good, right? But still, if they're having success in the run game, it opens the play action game up, right? It does. And so, and Amari Cooper is no slouch of a wide receiver either. So whoever's going to have that matchup, and maybe Dane Jackson on Amari Cooper, what could be another key matchup, right, to look out for. We saw the way Dane Jackson played against Justin Jefferson. Was not good at all, right? And then you look at Amari Cooper, he's a big wide receiver. He's a big dude, man. He's really thick. If that run game is going and you got play action, Dane Jackson could find himself in trouble today. So to me, I think for the Browns, they have to establish their run game, right? And establish their will against the Bills. You have to have the mindset, as a Cleveland Browns, you have to have the mindset that you are the more physical team, right? And it's probably true. I mean, if we're just being honest as Bills fans, being objective. So if you come in there with the mindset that, yo, you know what? We are the more physical team. We have that mindset. This is who we are. The Bills can't stop the run. Let's pound the rock, run it down their throat, and see if they can handle Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt all game. Sustain drives, be very efficient in the passing game of play action. and then when you get in the red zone, you're able to score touchdowns. I think that's gonna keep the game close, right? Because then you limit the Bills' offensive possessions, which makes a closer game. If you're able to convert those red zone opportunities into touchdowns, not field goals, right? But you're chewing up the clock. That's, to me, that's what the Browns have to do with the Bills offensively, right? Keep the Bills' offense off the field. Now, granted, I mean that should be everybody's plan of attack, but not everybody's able to do it, right? Not everybody's able to do it, especially if the Bills are able to get off to an early start. It's going to be tough, right? Unless you have a team that has an offense that can put points on the board. If the Bills get out to an early first half lead, let's say it's double digits, it could be tough for the Browns, who don't really have a potent offense, to catch back up unless we see the same second half Bills offense that we have seen the past 2.5 games. So that's key. That's keys to the game for the Browns. Number one, defensively for the Browns, man, you have to. To me, I think you have to get Josh off his spot, right? You have to affect the passing game, which means affect Josh in the pocket. Myles Garrett needs to have a huge game, right? Whether that's sacking Josh or just making him hurry up in the pocket, because we know Josh is not going to really just stand there and just deliver. He's gonna move around. He's gonna scramble. So if you can have some simulated pressure to get him to scramble, which you know he's going to his right, and then you have a spy on him, and that spy just comes at him, right? Then that could be another key. And then you have to play cover 2, right? Make Josh impatient, because you've seen it, right? You've seen that Josh the past couple of games, right, where Josh is impatient. If you play the coverage game in the back end, right, make Josh force the ball or make him check the ball down the field and make the Bills run the ball. Tell the Bills this: look, you're not passing it on us. I don't care what we have to do. We're playing coverage, right? We're playing coverage. I dare you to run the ball on us. And we're content with the long game. In other words, we're content with seeing how long Josh Allen is willing to be patient and take what we're giving you before he decides to play hero ball, especially if the game is close. You see what I'm saying? To me, that's what I think. That's the key for the Browns to win this game. It has to be that way, right? I mean, now we flip it. Let's flip it. Now let's flip it. Fluffy Panda comes in and says, running the ball, keeping it out of Josh's hands. Yep, absolutely. Sabrat Misra, I hope I pronounced that correctly, says contain Josh. You got to contain him. So now, what are the keys for the Bills to win this game? What are the keys? I'm looking at Carl Tillman says, ball security. Ball security. Man, oh man. I know Sean McDermott has got to be livid when he looks at his team being, I think, they're third place in the league in turnovers. Their offense, third in the league in turnovers. Ridiculous, right? I think it was like 10 interceptions and then 8 lost, right? So whether that's fumbles, you know what I'm saying? Ridiculous. And turnovers swing the game. They neutralize the game, right? I don't care about stats. I don't care about, it doesn't matter like, the team rankings, or like the Browns are 31st in this and the Bills are lead the league, or they're like first or second in points scored in offense, and none of that matters. When you turn the ball over at an elite clip like the Bills have been doing, that neutralizes the field for everybody. That gives even the likes of the Browns a chance in this game. That's where you see teams winning that really shouldn't have won. It's when you have these turnovers. And so the Buffalo Bills can clean up the turnover game, gosh, can we have a game where there's like man, I'll settle for just one. I don't even want to settle for one turnover, man. How about no turnovers? Bills offense, no interceptions in the game, no fumbles. Can we do that? Is that too much to ask for? Right? Motor, I need you to hold on to that ball. Even though, in my opinion, I think that, the last game, I think that fumble was bogus. I think his elbow was down. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Going down to the ground, you got to put two hands on it. We don't even want to give it up to the refs, right? To leave them up to interpretation. I don't want to even do it. Secure the ball. Secure the ball. And you know what? I was talking about it earlier in the week. About these turnovers and Josh and these guys fumbling the ball and stuff like that. It reminded me of, has anybody seen that movie, The Program? That football game back in the 90s? That football movie, The Program, with Omar Epps. Right? The program where, what was his name? What was his character name? Was it Darnell Jefferson, I think? You guys remember that? Or he came in super cocky, right? And the dude kept on fumbling. He had a fumble issue. And so the coach made him carry the ball around campus. He had to carry the football around campus, right? And then like it was all game. It was like free game for like any of the players who saw him with the ball to knock the ball out. And I think like if whoever recovered the ball, I can't remember what happened, but anyway, it was a big thing, right? Like that's what Sean McDermott should have been having these Bills do, right? Josh Allen, Motor, everybody else. Look, on the offense who've been giving up these balls, your job this week is to hold on to the ball all week. That's your job. And anybody else on this team, it's free game. If you see them, if you get a chance to take the ball away, you know what I'm saying? Do you take it away? Right? And there'll be some type of, I don't know, consequences or whatever. I don't know, man, but I'm just playing. But that's exactly what I thought about in that, when I thought about the turnovers. Bills need to clean that up all the way. Clean it up. I clean the turnover game up, man. I think just that alone gives the Bills the advantage in this game. Right? Another key for the Bills, Jim Graham said it as well. No red zone turnovers. But yeah, I agree with the turnovers, especially in the red zone. But to me, I'm going to say this. How about red zone efficiency? How about when we get in the red zone, how about we score touchdowns? Right? Not turnovers, touchdowns. Let's get in there and handle business like we're supposed to. Okay? But probably for me, my number one key to the game for the Bills, and this is something I'm going to have my eyes on until they show that they can correct it, and that is their second half offense. When the Bills come out in the second half of this football game, how do they perform? Because we know that they're gold, right, in the first half. But in the second half, they're absolutely terrible. And that falls on coaching. You can't put all of that on Josh. That's on coaching. Even, you know what I'm saying? Now you can play it on the players to a degree. Maybe they have a different mindset because remember Stephon Diggs even said, I think that coming out of the second half, I think guys blinked a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, to use what Von Miller says, don't blink. I think guys have blinked. So maybe they've gotten too comfortable with the early first half lead. They're starting to feel themselves a little too much. And they come back in the second half not as crisp, right? I need these guys to have the mentality of, we're going to close this thing out, right? Just that killer mentality where it's 4 quarters and you're going to get this for 4 quarters. All gas, no brakes for 4 straight quarters. Stop us if you can, but we're not letting off the gas. That's what I need this team to do. You need to have that mentality. And it goes with Ken Dorsey as well. In the second half, I want to see their offensive efficiency and productivity. If the Bills come out first, they go into the second half, they go into halftime, and they've got, let's say, 21-3 lead. I'm not going to applaud that. I'm not going to feel comfortable. Not until the second half. And they've done it to themselves. It's because of them why I feel this way. Yeah, I feel some type of way, man. They need to correct that. Second half is where the Bills offense has really looked like a shell of themselves. A complete shell of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Jeff King. Man, I appreciate the super chat, Jeff. He says, Rev, thank you as always. A happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, and the same to all of you and your families on here today. Go Bills. 1,000%, Jeff. 1,000%. Appreciate that, man. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And guess what? We're going to have another opportunity to talk because Bills play in Detroit Thanksgiving Day. We're going to talk about it too as well, man. But yeah, Jeff, I appreciate that, buddy. Much love. Much love. So I want to see the second half offense. That's what I think. So if the Bills can limit the turnovers offensively, and then the second half offense can have some efficiency like the first half has been, I think the Bills win huge. To me, that's it. And that's it. And you may need to sprinkle in some balance. Depending upon how the Browns are playing them defensively, they may need to be a little bit of balance, right? With the run game. That's what I want to see. And I'm looking at Josh right now on NFL Network. He's out there warming up. I'm looking at his eyes, man. I'm trying to see what he looks like. He was kind of taking a deep breath. His eyes kind of looked a little nervous, man. I'm not going to lie. Because I think he feels the pressure, right? I think he feels the pressure of this game, the weight of his game. And so Cynthia's projections right now, so she's got the Bills over the Browns, 28-19. She's projecting Stephon Diggs right now to have 7 receptions, 88 yards, and a touchdown. The over-under is set at 88.5 receiving yards. Yeah, man. We'll see. We're definitely going to see and find out. But what do you guys think about this? Let me move on from this keys to the game. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys this question because it seems like, and I think this has happened every game so far this year, that the Bills have won the opening toss. They elect to defer to the second half, right? They elect to put the offense on the field first. What do you guys think about that? Now that the Bills, because the offense has been kind of having some, they're in a rut, so to speak. Do you think it's time for, and I know people are like, they're set in certain things that they do, right? Maybe it's rituals or, just certain things that they do, right? But do you think that maybe just for a mentality shift, do you think that some people are already coming in? Let me get my question out first. What do you think about them putting the defense out first? Maybe let the defense, get a huge stop. Maybe it's a huge 3-and-out or a turnover to start the game, right? To kind of get the offense amped up rather than relying upon the offense to go ahead and put these points up on the board quickly. I don't know. John Herring says, don't change the thing. Don't change the thing. Man. Hey, I just want to throw it out there, man. Do we lose every coin toss? So you mean that the teams who've been winning the coin toss have been electing to put the Bills offense out? Oh man. I don't know. I'm just trying to. Sometimes I think sometimes I think it's good to switch things up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? This maybe it's for a mental thing, right? And, you got to check the momentum. You know what I'm saying? If the offense is kind of struggling a little bit, man, let's put the defense out first and let's see if they can create a spark. Because I think a huge turnover from the defense. In the first series, opening series, boy, the defense is out there on fire. We got Jordan Poyer back. He's good. He's healthy. He's ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And they come out and either they have a huge stop, force a turnover. Either they have a huge stop, right, and force the Browns to punt. Maybe let's say, for instance, the Browns get a 3-and-out, right? The Bills defense forces a 3-and-out in the Browns territory, right? And so they punt the ball, and Nyheim Hines or whoever is returning that kick is already in plus territory, right? And they return it, decent return. They're at the plus 30 or whatever. So now you got a huge stop from the defense, and then the offense is in positive territory, right? You know what I'm saying? I think that can jumpstart the offense. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much. Maybe I'm being too analytical. That's just me, man. I'm the kind of guy who likes to change my furniture up. You know what I'm saying? I'll change furniture up, just to change the environment. I think change is good every once in a while. Stop being so rigid, people. Anyway, that's just a question I wanted to throw out there. I wanted to know what you guys thought about it. So we've gone through key matchups. We've gone through keys to the game. Now, what I want to hear, as we are an hour and 6 into the game right now. I mean, why do I keep saying the game? This is not a game. This is a show. An hour and 6 minutes into the show. Matter of fact, smash that like, hit the subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications, and stay tuned right here. Keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned right here to Buffalo Fanatics, because after this, after the pregame, you are going to be joined by my man, Mr. It's the Kingpin, for his live game day reaction show. So you want to just let's keep it right here, man. Let's keep it on the Buffalo Fanatics all game long. All right, because we got to think about 20 minutes until kickoff. All right, so we're going to go through this real quickly. I got to give my brother some time to get ready. It's hot take time. Hot take time. Give me a hot take. And yes, I'm asking you, chat. I want to hear from you. Scott Blakely, man, I agree, bro. Scott Blakely says, yo, Allen looks tight in pregame. To me, I just saw a clip. And his eyes seemed off, man. I don't know. I'm not trying to put nothing out there, man, but he just didn't. If I'm a player, I'm looking at my quarterback. He's the leader of his team. I'm looking in his eyes. I'm saying, I want to know he's right. Man, he didn't look right to me. He didn't. So maybe I'm misreading it, but he just didn't look right. That's why I'm saying, lean on the run game, put the defense out there first, create a turnover or a huge stop, or it could completely backfire and I give up a huge run to Nick Chubb and they score first, and then we'll all be like, we'll all be having a fit. Anyway, hot take. Give me a hot take. What is your hot take for today's game? Hot take for today's game. Let me see here. Let me see who's got a hot take. Okay, here we go. Zachary Jennings comes in with his hot take. He says, hot take, ref. Bills run the ball a lot better than the Browns today. Whoo, man. That's a hot take. That is a hot take for sure. I like it. Hot to keep your hot takes coming. Where's it at? Johnny Blaze comes in with a hot take. He says, yo, Motor gets 20 plus touches and 2 touchdowns. Oh, I love it. Dude, and Motor can do it too, man. That's the thing about it, man. He's that. Hold on a second. Oh, dude. I'm looking at this. Nick Chubb is a freaking boulder, man. Oh, my gosh. That guy. Oh. I'm sorry. I just turned. I got the TV next to me. I turned and I looked, and they showed a clip, of the pregame, whatever, and I saw Nick Chubb. That looking like a freaking just a boulder, man. And I'm just like, oh God. Anyway, I can't let that get me down. So anyway, yeah, Motor getting 20 plus touches and 2 touchdowns. I like it. I think he can do it, man. I think the offense needs to rely on the run game a little more balance. Who else do we got? What else we got? James Mormon comes in. He says, yo, Chubb less than 70 yards. All right. I like it. Shut him down. Shut the run game down. Eric Stevens hot take. Tyler Bass hits from 60 plus. That's a hot take. Because my man Bass, from 50 plus, he hasn't been very good. And our very own chaotic Trish Patel, she is a huge Tyler Bass stan, right? If she heard me say that, she would be so upset. But it's just truth, man. Tyler Bass is, he's been kind of buns from plus 50. So yeah, plus 60. Yeah, that's a huge hot take, Eric. Huge hot take. Let's see here. Let me see here. Oh, dang. This is one. James FX90 says, yo, Bill's going to pitch a shutout today and total 600 total yards of offense. Whew. I kind of like that. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Pitching a shutout and then having 600 yards of total offense, that's a huge hot take. I like it. Let me see who else. James that comes in again, 200 plus yards rushing. Are you including Josh Allen? Or is that just the running backs? Can you imagine Motor Singletary rushing for 200 yards in the game? That would set the whole league would go on fire. All right. If they looked at this game and they said Devin Singletary has rushed for 200 and something yards in today's game against the Cleveland Browns, they would freaking go nuts. Can you imagine that? Oh man, I would like to see it, to be honest. I would. Another hot take. Stephen Shaw comes in. Yo, Davis with 180 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. Huge. I like it. Keep your hot takes coming. Let me see here. Keep on looking here. Oh, this is nice. So Bryce says Dawson Knox leads the Bills in receiving yards, catches, and touchdowns. I like it. I definitely want to see Dawson Knox get involved. Let me see here. Keep them coming. Joshua Richardson says Josh throws for 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. I think the no interception part would be a hot take. Everything else is to be expected, right? But the no interceptions, I think that's a huge hot take, especially the way Josh has been tossing them up the past couple of games. That's funny. Let's see here. You guys are stupid. D. Raleigh says, yo, hot take. We steal Nick Chubb and take him back to Buffalo and change his nub to kick nub. Oh, man. Or is that sick nub? Which one is that? Did I mispronounce it? Either way, I like it. It's funny. That's funny. Can you imagine Nick Chubb on this team? Oh, I can. We probably still wouldn't use him anyway. Silas says, yo, hot take. No turnovers today, baby. No turnovers. Man, if that's a hot take, we're in trouble. Right? But it is what it is. Hold on. Okay. John Herring comes in. Yo, my hot take. Xavier Rhodes will be a pleasant surprise. I don't know if I want to believe that, John, because I see where you're coming from. But if he's a pleasant surprise today, that means that somebody is going to go off the field and he's going to have to play. Because I don't see Xavier starting, right? So to me, I'm looking at it, it's Dane Jackson and Christian Benford. Unless they use Xavier in the rotation, right? Let's hope. I don't want anybody to get injured. So maybe I jumped the gun on that, right? So maybe in the rotation, Xavier Rhodes rotating with Christian Benford because Kyrie Elam is out. Xavier Rhodes is a pleasant surprise. I'll look at it that way. I think that's what you mean, John. I agree with you if that's what you're saying. Let me see here. Abel's got the super chat. Abel, I appreciate it. Abel Valencia comes through and says, Allen and the Bills come out and remind everyone that team. Fire us up, baby. Let's go, Abel. I like it. I definitely think that everything is set up for them to do it right now. This game, right? This game. I think they can do it. Let me see. I don't know if I have a hot take for you guys. I like your hot takes better than mine, to be honest. Oh, dang. Carl Tillman says, yo, hot take, Chubb fumbles 3 times and is benched. Oh, man. That would be good. Let me see here. Let me see if I can come up with a hot take real quick off the top of my head before we make a switch. My hot take. Oh, let's see here. Dang, it's tough. I think I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball here. Let's see. If I say the hot take, let's say hot take from me would be Boogie Basham with 3 sacks. Boogie Basham with 3 sacks today. That's my hot take. All right, because I need those defensive ends in the absence of Greg Rousseau to step up. Right, and so I want pressure on Jacoby Brissett. We know that they're going to run the ball, right? So we stop the run, put some pressure on them when they decide to go play action or throw the ball. Let me get Boogie Basham with 3 sacks. Hot take from me. Scott Blakely, you a fool. Josh Allen throws less than 3 interceptions. Oh man, you guys are hilarious. I love it. I love it, man. I tell you, the chat is what is. It's the chat, y'all. The chat keeps the show going, man. You guys are phenomenal. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Smash that like, hit the subscribe button. All right, let's move on. So we got hot takes. We got the hot takes. Now let's go with because we got, I think, what about 10 minutes until the game. I want to give my man Pierre Kingpin enough time. So now let's go with some score predictions. Score predictions, Bills Mafia. Let me hear it. Let me see it. Score predictions this game. What do you think? What do you think? Jeff B says, you dreaming, Rev. I am, man. I really am. Let's see here. Score predictions. I thought I saw a score prediction earlier on. But drop them. Drop your score predictions. Here we go. John Petrucelli. I hope I said that correctly, John. Bills 34, Browns 20. I like it. Who else we got? What else we got? Who do we got? We got, oh man, Randall with the 40 burger. Randall Stevens comes in and says, yo, 45-17 Bills. Ivan the Great predicts a loss, 24-21. Oh, dude, let's not do that, man. If the Bills lose this game, oh, can you imagine? I don't even want to think about that. I don't. Let's take a look. Moose Perk RVG says 31-10 Bills. I like it. And do we got a new member? We just got a new member to the show. Bryce Denny. If I had my bell like Rico does, I would ring that bell. Bing, bing, biggity, bing. Welcome to the Bing Squad. I appreciate you, Bryce. Everybody in the chat, drop some mics for my man Bryce Denny, a brand new member to BF. Much love, baby. And keep your score predictions coming in. Jack Fitzgerald says 38-14 Bills. 40-3. Golly. From Locks God, 17. Keith Sherwood says 35-27 Bills win. EDY says 40-21. I'm assuming it's Bills. Others just say, yo, just win. Price Brew Crew Fishing says, yo, just win. Just win, baby. That's it. Scott Blakely, I'm not going to read no more. Come on, man. It's panic time with one more loss. That could be true. But we're not going to. Positive, man. Let's think positively, okay? I don't even want to think if the Bills lose this game. Score predictions, baby. Where'd it go? There it is. Growing legit. Bills 42, Browns 13. Huge win. There you go, Scott. Scott with a close game. 27-24 Browns. Oh, Scott ain't feeling it. The past couple of weeks, Scott has not been feeling the Bills. But so far, he's been right. Scott, you're not going to be right today, man. Okay, let's not have it. My score prediction, let me see if I can get one. I do think that it could be a closer game, right? I don't know about this run game for the Browns, man. I just don't know about our ability to really stop it all game long. We're without Trey again, but we've been without him, since last year. So we got Jordan Poyer back, which is good. No Kyer Elam, but we still got Benford, Dane Jackson, Xavier Rhodes. The offense, we bring up Tanner Gentry. We're thin at wide receiver, right? So we're gonna need some other guys to step up. I think we run the ball more. But oh man. Let me see. I'm gonna go with Bills. Bills 27. Browns 23. Can they even score 23? Is that even? Can they even do it? Yeah, they can, right? Yeah, 27-23 Bills. I think it's gonna be a closer game. I could be wrong. But that's my score prediction. I've got somebody who just popped in here. Remember, I told you guys earlier on that we could be getting a live. My man Kevin Syracuse could be joining us live from Detroit. There he is. Kev, you go ahead and give me a thumbs up when you're ready, baby. You ready? Thumbs up if you're good. You good, Kev? I'm gonna go ahead and add him to the stream. Let me see if he can hear me because I don't see his thumbs up. So you guys, welcome Kevin Syracuse to the stream, who is all the way from Detroit right now live. He's going to give us his quick input on the game right now, what he thinks is going on so far in Detroit. All right, well, maybe not. Kev, let me know if you're good, baby. Let me know. Hey, Kev.
Oh, let's go.
Kev. All right, I think he's having some issues. Kevin, can you hear me? That background noise, man, is because Kevin is at Detroit. He's at the game right now. Kevin, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, baby. Are you good? You're on, Kev. Can you hear me? All right. It looks like he's having some issues, some technical difficulties. So we may have to do this another time, Kev. Kev, can you hear me? There we go. I can barely hear you, baby. Are you on a delay? What's good, man?
Bills are running.
Yeah, it's lagging. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Kev, we can't hear you, man. You're having some technical difficulties, I guess. Being in the stadium right now, it's not doing too well with your connection. So we're gonna have to move on, man. I'm sorry about that, guys, man. We really wanted to get Kevin because he, like I said, he's in Detroit right now. I wanted to hear what he had to say and get his feel from Bills Mafia. I really was curious to see how Bills Mafia showed up to this game. If there's going to be a large contingency of Bills fans at the game, or if it's going to be a neutral game, or what. Because the tickets sold completely out. I think 56,000 completely sold out really quickly when they went on sale. So I was curious to see about how many Bills fans were actually going to be at that game. But unfortunately, because somebody says, yo, Kevin is snowed in. Nah. Kevin's in Detroit, baby. He's not snowed in. He just has a bad reception. Bad reception. So we'll find out. I guess we'll look at the game and we'll see how it sounds. But, yo, Bills Mafia, Buffalo Fanatics, everybody's out there, man. Yo, I really appreciate you guys joining me live. We've been having 200 plus strong in this thing all show long. And that's all because of you. It's not because of me. It's all because of you and because of how much you love these Buffalo Bills. But this game is about 4 or 5 minutes away from kickoff. So what I'm going to do is we're going to sign off right now, okay? And as you're leaving, smash that like, hit the subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications, and keep it locked right here, okay? Keep it locked right here because my main man, Pierre the Kingpin, is going to be doing his live game day reaction show on the Buffalo Fanatics Network YouTube channel right here, baby. So until then, baby, it's your man Rev. We'll see you again next time. Bills big win. Let's get this dub and let's keep it moving. All right, Bills fans, love y'all, Mafia. Let's get this dub. We'll see you again next time. God bless and go Buffalo. I'm out.